What do you do if you feel sad or lonely? First of all, I allow myself to feel that way. Yeah, I just allow myself to feel these things, and then I just get to a point where I'm like, bitch, enough. Honestly, like, I'm done feeling sad. Let's just keep it moving. It's like it's all mindset because I've been working on this for a little while. So whenever and I have these moments, I have these days where I just feel down, and I'm like, okay, that's just how it is for now. But this too shall pass. And then it does. I get to that point where I'm like, bitch, the fuck? You're the creator of your own reality. Change something. What helps me sometimes is when I have these days or these moments where I feel down, especially where I'm like doubting myself, doubting if I'll ever realize my dreams, like crush my goals and everything. Then I'm thinking, what would my like older self, the already more involved me, what the real me, like my higher self, what would it say to me? And then I'm all of a sudden inside myself, I hear this voice that goes, bitch, don't even. It's like, baby, why are you talking down? And my inner self starts to laugh at me like, you have it in you, like, don't you dare talk down on yourself. Nah, we don't have time for this. We're not here to play games anymore. Like, you can do it. Like, we don't have time, yo. We don't have time for you to doubt yourself. You have to keep going. I'm not talking down on myself because I understand I attract what I put out. And a belief, even the beliefs you have about yourself, is just a thought you keep on thinking. And literally, you can change habits within 21 days and also your beliefs. So if you keep telling yourself that you're ugly, you're always going to feel that way. But once you start talking better about yourself and telling yourself in the mirror things that you actually like about yourself, and you give yourself the pep talk in the morning when you wake up, or just whenever you feel good, then that's what's going to become your reality. And there's going to come a day where you wake up and you're like, holy shit, who is that fine motherfucker in the mirror? Do I know you? Can I have your number? Where you just have that moment like, if I could, I would date myself. But ultimately, and this is what really makes me sleep well at night, is just knowing that all of this, everything that I'm going through, is for a purpose. It's not ever for nothing. Doesn't matter how shitty it feels. It's not ever for nothing. There's always some bigger picture. And sometimes it's like this puzzle, right? And when puzzles are done, you have a picture. And sometimes we're just so focused on one little piece and we try to find out what this is trying to show us, when we just kind of have to take a step back and try and look at the bigger picture of the picture this is actually trying to get put together, if that makes sense. So, whatever it is that you're going through, it's for a bigger picture. It's for a bigger thing. It's bigger than you. Roller coasters wouldn't be fun if they would just be in a straight line. Like, if roller coasters wouldn't take you high and then drop you down into the lows, you wouldn't appreciate the highs. Like, it wouldn't be fun. The highs on a roller coaster wouldn't be fun without the lows. When you climb a mountain, and I've said this in my last vlog, when you climb a mountain, you have this goal of climbing the mountain and you want to see the view, right? And eventually you get up there and you see the view and it's beautiful. But then you're like, what's next? What's really important, what's really the fun part, is the journey. You climb and sometimes you get stuck and maybe you fall back down a bit and then you keep on climbing. That's what's actually fun. It's the journey. When you think you're done learning, there's more to learn. You're not ever done. And like once you understand that actually you don't know anything as much as you think you know, that's when you know. When you know that you don't know anything. Because there's always more. Always. You're always a student of the game. And life and this planet, like life is this big school, and Earth is our playground. You're a creator. And on this playground, you can literally do whatever the fuck you want. And once you realize that you have the power and that you are the creator of your life, and everything that's happening to you is not actually happening to you, it's happening for you because you attracted it like that, because you put out the vibration and that's what you got from the universe, because that's how law of attraction works. Once you understand that you have the power, you're not going to create anything negative for you anymore. Or if something negative ever happens, you're going to understand why it happened, why it had to happen, what it is trying to show you. You're not supposed to struggle. We are not supposed to struggle. We're not supposed to suffer, but we make ourselves suffer. And the thing is, we're not truly done with suffering. That's why we keep on suffering. It's like, yeah, I don't like this, but you're not fucking done with it. You're not at a point where you're like, yeah, enough is enough and I'm not going to take any more of this. All those people every day who are depressed and feel like they want to kill themselves, but they keep on being here anyway. Some people have been depressed for years and they wanted to die for years. And I'm asking myself, why didn't you end it? Why? Because you're not actually done. You're not done. And you don't want to be done. That's the actual thing behind it. You're not done, and you don't want to be done. And you're not supposed to be done. Otherwise, it would be done. There's a purpose. And the sooner you realize that you're still here for a reason, the better. And the sooner you realize that it's all inside your hands and everything that you need is already deep inside of you, the better. And that's why I'm doing this. I lost a lot of people too. People left me all the time. So, they're not supposed to be in your life. Everything happens for a reason. And this is what this showed me being left all the time showed me that I'm supposed to love myself, cuz I can't have people in my life if I don't love myself. If I would leave, if I ask you the question, if you could, okay? Let's say you're like two people, and if you could, you would leave yourself behind. So many people would say yes. That's why people are leaving you behind, because you would literally leave yourself behind if you could. If you could run away from yourself. That's the thing. And now it's like I have friends and I attracted people into my life. And these people now, they literally tell me how inspiring I am and how they literally wish they were like me. Never has this happened to me before. Ever. And it's like, I'm not a different person. I'm still me, you know? I'm just seeing things different now. I'm still me. Like, I'm the person who was bullied in school and had a gigantic ass target on her back. I was the person that was held up against a wall and people were telling her in her face, I'm gonna kill you. I was the person who didn't have any friends. And now I literally have friends who tell me how inspiring I am and how they wish they were more like me. It's literally in your hands. It's like I freaking did that. I did that. And it's not by leaving myself behind. It's by sitting down with myself and being like, okay, buddy. So, how are you feeling? What is it? I've been literally in meditation, sitting down with my inner child, that little 6-year-old kid that was absolutely terrified to go to school. That's when it all started. You literally have to sit down with yourself. Go back to the point where something so traumatic happened to you, it changed you. And it turned you into who you are now, the person you would like to leave behind. But it's like, no, you can't run. You can't run from yourself. You can't. So sit down with yourself and ask yourself what the fuck is up and work with yourself. That's the only way. Listen, the only way to get to where you want to be is to go through. There's no way around, there's no way over. There's no way like back. Back certainly never is the right direction. The only times you should look back is times where you look back in order to feel proud of yourself, how in order to look at how far you've come. That's the only time you should ever look back, or to look back and heal childhood trauma and things that just hurt you and traumatized you. Because sometimes we need to go back to finally heal, and those things have to resurface. Those are the only times. Otherwise, it's always forward. And it doesn't matter what's the obstacle. The only way around, the only way to who you want to be is through. Every I want to die isn't I want to live so fucking bad. Behind every negative is literally the positive opposite that people want to be, but they don't know how. Some of you feel like they can't be positive. So if you're just really in that belief and in that habit of being so negative, you're like, I don't know how to be positive. So if you could, you would be positive. And if you could, you would love yourself. And if you could, you would go and travel the world. The thing is, those things you're wishing for, you can literally do. That's the cool part about it. But like I said before, some people just aren't done enough. Some people just aren't done enough to make a change. Changing requires energy. Making a positive change requires the most energy ever. But literally, that's why depressed people are the most strongest ones and have the most potential to make this change, because every day they drag themselves through life and they're done. Every day their batteries are already running on empty. If they would just use that energy and make the change. That's why when people tell me, yo, I'm depressed, I'm like so excited. And it sounds really weird, but I'm like so excited because I've been there. And I'm not there anymore. And I don't want to die anymore. I just want to live. Everything happens for a reason, you guys. I can't, I've said it a trillion times. And I'm gonna keep saying it until people really have this in here. Until they really see it for themselves. I took pills and waiting for them to kick in. Why? Look, life just sucks right now. Right now is a moment. Suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems. You want to see this, the most beautiful sunset ever, right? At a beach, or just the most beautiful place you can think of, okay? And you have this wall in front of you. So you're like, all I see is a wall. But that doesn't mean that sunset at the most beautiful place you can think of doesn't exist. And it doesn't mean that you can't get there. It's just like a wall. But that wall is it's just the moment. The wall represents the moment, the negative, the sucking moment in life that keeps you from seeing that sunset at the most beautiful place you can think of. And I'll say this again. In the Logan Paul video, when he came back, he talked to a person who survived their suicide attempt by jumping off of, I think it was the Golden Gate Bridge. And that person said, when I let go of the rail and I was on my way down, I immediately regretted it. There are so many beautiful things to see in the world. And I want you to be alive to see it. So if you literally took some pills, call 911. You don't want to die. You want to live. That's what you're fucking screaming. Your inner being is literally screaming at you, I want to live. And you're interpreting as I want to die. Because your head is like, I can't take this anymore. But you're inside, the being inside of you, in this incarnation, inside this body, deep inside, your soul is like, hey, no, we want to live. like, pause. We want to actually get better. You want to actually get better. I know you're tired. I know you're so tired. But you've driven yourself into this. That's the thing. And it is a really, really painful thing. It is so painful to realize that everything, the way your life is right now, as miserable as it may seem, as miserable as it may is right now, you've done it to yourself. When you realize everything, like you've done this to yourself, it hurts. And this is where you have to start forgiving. You have to forgive yourself. You have to learn and work on forgiving yourself. Because most of these things, it doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what other people do. It's us who hold on to all this weight that drags us down. And sometimes we find ourselves in the deepest holes ever, and we feel like we can never get out of it again. But that is also where you find your power. Knowing that you've done this to yourself is actually a beautiful thing, because when you realize that, you also realize you're the one who can get yourself back out. Sometimes I think about ending it, but I never do, because I want to live. I want to have a future. I want to have a job and get married. And if it ends, you won't get to see it. That's the thing. Look, as bad as you may feel sometimes, when you're like, let me just ask you, what do you like, what feels better to you? Love or hate? Just that feeling, what feels better? Like, your inner being is literally telling you what you actually want. What do you want? Do you want to die, or do you actually want to live? Do you want to see it all? Maybe you watch some YouTubers and you watch their vlogs or whatever. Or you've seen like this movie, and you're like, oh man, I want that. Just that moment when you were like, oh, I actually want that. That's what you actually want. You don't want to die. You don't want any hate. You don't want to feel bad. You don't want to be depressed. You want to be fucking happy. What feels better, depression or happiness? And that's the thing. Happiness is a fucking choice. Like, fuck yeah. It's a choice. And like, everything always happens in the now, you guys. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. All we ever have is now. And the future only ever happens in the now. And the past only happened in the now, and now it's gone. What I said an hour ago is gone. When you break down the word depressed, slow it down. It translates, or it actually is deep rest. You want to rest. You're in deep rest because you're tired. But you did this to yourself, and you have to get so fucking sick of it until you finally make a change. Of course, depression is not a choice, but you still got yourself into it. Stop blaming other people. What others say or do does not have an effect on you unless you have it an effect on you. Especially what others say. The mental game. We really need to work on it, you guys. You're a damn beautiful person. Thank you. But each and every single one of you guys is also a really beautiful person. There are 7.5 billion people on this planet, and you're never gonna find another you. Ever. You have a purpose here. I understand what you mean, but I think it's too hard to get out of all this. No. Like, okay, maybe for you it is. That is your belief. If you say it is too hard, you're always going to be presented with too hard, because you are the creator of your reality. And if you believe because things have been hard so far, they're going to only keep being hard, you're going to keep, like, life is going to throw all these things at you. They're just going to be hard. You know, when you have to say, hey, when life is hard, I'm fucking harder. This shit's never going to get me down. You cannot break me. I've been bent multiple times, and more than I could handle. But I'm here. Or maybe even if you feel like you've literally been shattered, you still have pieces. You know, I think it was in China or somewhere, when like their rice bowls get broken, they literally don't throw them away. The cracks, they fill them up with gold. and put it back together. And then they keep eating out of that rice bowl. And then it's like fucking art. Imagine yourself, and this may seem like super like ridiculous now because I was like, because it's funny because I said rice bowl. I get it. But imagine yourself as this freaking rice bowl. And even if you've been shattered, then you put yourself back together with gold in between. Let me tell you guys something real quick. You gotta love yourself first. You gotta live. Yeah. Take it from someone who's struggled with an eating disorder, and Jay is so fucking right when you realize that it was yourself. Yeah, you got yourself in there and you have the fucking power to get out of it. And I've had an eating disorder too. All my life up until like half a year ago. All my life. Eating disorders originate from the soul. So it's your soul trying to tell you something. And I had a selective eating disorder, which in my eyes was probably the worst. Because it's like I just really wanted to be healthy, but I didn't eat vegetables. I didn't eat any fruits. Because just the thought of eating it gave me fucking boost bumps and made me want to throw up. And I would literally panic. When I tried, what was it? I think it was like a piece of orange. When I tried that little piece of orange for the first time, I fucking gagged. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I want this so much and I want to just be healthy. But my body, my mind is literally saying no. I felt like the only thing that was ever gonna help me was maybe being hypnotized into finally eating these things. And then I started working on myself and healing childhood trauma. And I've had that eating disorder ever since I was 2. The first year of my life, I ate everything, and all of a sudden, these things were ew, disgusting. I wouldn't eat that anymore. And I would just like, back then, oh, you guys, my diet consisted of pizza, chicken nuggets, every fast food you can basically think of. Like, I hated tomatoes so much I wouldn't even eat ketchup. When I got into the mental hospital in May until June, when I got home, first of all, my body couldn't process meat at that point, so it was like no, and I was craving, literally craving. I was eating it all day. Vegetables. Vegetables I've never eaten in my life before. I was like, this is so good. Like, how fucking come I've never eaten this? How come it was so disgusting to me? Like, I love this. And guys, now there are foods that I simply do not like because I don't like the taste of them. But like, just back then, just trying things was the worst nightmare for me. I couldn't. And now it's like, yeah, let me try this. And if it tastes bad, well, then that's just how it is. But I try things and I'm excited to try these things. And I eat so many fruits and vegetables. Oh, guys, I used to only eat bananas and only from one brand. Now I don't even care which brand it's from. I love bananas. I eat strawberries, cranberries. I love kiwis. Oh, freshly pressed orange juice. It's the fucking shit. Like, and this is because I've healed that part of myself, and it is possible. The one eating disorder, I thought nobody could ever heal, and it's so new. It hasn't even been acknowledged for the longest time, and now people are trying to find a way to heal people with this eating disorder. The one eating disorder where I was like, you can't heal this shit unless you get hypnotized. I fucking healed it myself. So don't tell me shit. Okay? I know what you're talking about. You gotta realize something's wrong with you. When you get to that point of realizing you want to change something. Yeah, but you have to be fucking sick and tired of it. You have to be tired of it. People aren't tired enough. Darkness is just the absence of light. So all those dark parts within yourself is literally just the absence of your light. I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. There is no tunnel. There's no light at the end of the tunnel because there is no tunnel. There is no magic light switch. Doesn't exist. There's only you in this world, and the light that you're looking for is inside yourself. You are the light, so be the fucking light. Listen up, people. I know life can suck sometimes, but you gotta get through it and fight whatever is bothering you, because if you end your life now, you wouldn't know what life would bring you. Yeah. And life, that's the thing. We are not meant to struggle. We're not meant to feel bad. The universe wants to give us all these beautiful things, all of them. Whatever you can think of that you want, the universe would literally give it to you if you would just walk the path of least resistance. Okay? But we want to carry it all with us, sorry, all our past and what we've been through, and I literally sometimes we identify as our past, all these things. Like, question and answer this honestly: who are you without your name, without your job, without school, without the people around you, and without your past? Who are you? And I know some of you cannot answer this question, but that is the question you need to literally ask yourself. Who are you without all of it? And I asked myself, and I started crying because only positive things came up for me. When you take it all away, all anxiety, the past, everything that I just mentioned, when you take it all away, who am I? And then I asked myself, well, why am I not embodying that right now? Sometimes when you can't be the light for yourself, you can be the light for someone else. Yeah. But that's what I've done too, because so I was always good at giving advice, but I was never taking my own. And I was always helping everybody else and jumping immediately for everybody, but I left myself behind more times than I can think of. And I forgive myself for that. So, helping others is great, but the thing is you can't pour from an empty cup. And you should look, I don't know if you follow him or whatever, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, he just posted a video, and in the video it literally said, in order to be good and to help and to be a kind person, you need to be selfish first. And that is true. There's a degree of selfishness that is so needed, and it's that self-love degree of selfishness. You have to work on yourself first. I need your opinion on something. So the thing is that my dream is to study medicine in Toronto and just get out of the small fucking town I live in. But my parents, they're not believing in me. They're like, they understand me and stuff, but I just don't want to disappoint them and myself, but I really want to go there. I'm not sure if I can do that without their support. I don't know if you've listened to it, but listen to my audio. If not, it's when nobody believes in you, keep going, because my parents don't believe in me either, and it doesn't stop me from shit. Because it's about your passion. And if you feel like you can't do it without their support, that is trying to show you that you need to work on the support you have for yourself. You need to be your biggest supporter. You need to be your own fucking cheerleader. Sometimes you have these days where you don't even want to get out of bed and you have to be like, let's go. Like, JJ, get the fuck up. Like, we need to get going. You can't. You can take a break when you're fucking dead. When this meat suit is over with, that's when you can take a break. You can take a break when you have that breakthrough. When you actually reach the goal, then you can have a break, but then we're like on to the next thing. So like, no, listen to that. And then also, my first vlog, I literally talked about my biggest fear. It is being a disappointment, is being a failure. And especially, I don't want my parents to be right. But you're passionate. If like medicine and helping people is what you're passionate about, then that is it. That is your inner being telling you like this is what we want to do. This is the way that we want to go, and nothing should stop you from it. You need to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is supposed to? It's like literally, if you don't believe in yourself, the people you attract into your life, talking friends now, they're always like, they're cool to be with, but when you talk about like your hopes and dreams, they're always going to be the ones, those are going to be the kind of people like they want you to do good but not better than them. That's the kind of people you're going to attract. So work on that. Work on believing in yourself, supporting yourself, and keep going regardless. Just follow whatever it is that you're passionate about, because you're passionate about it for a reason. You're probably never really going to be what your parents expected you to be. But what I know for sure is, even if your parents are hard on you, they're like, they only want you to do good. Listen, my parents don't believe in this whole online thing, what I'm doing. Okay? Yet in 2015, I stood on a stage and I received an award, a YouNow award for being the most unique person, okay? In the category unique. I won. And my dad, who doesn't believe in this online shit, was the one to cry. He was the only one who cried when I won. My dad, who doesn't believe in me. Like, I literally asked him, Dad, do you believe in me? He said no. He cried. And when he said I could never make money with this online thing, on YouNow, I became a YouNow partner and I made money with it. I was like, in your face, Dad. Whenever my dad was like, no, I was like, well, fuck, then I'll show you. And I know my parents don't believe in this shit, because this is the thing. Usually parents, because they don't know any better, okay? They don't know any better, so don't be hard on them, and forgive them. I forgive my parents for not believing in me, but I believe in me, so that's okay. You know, I believe in me, and I don't need anybody else to. They don't know any better. So that's why usually parents are like, go to school and like work like a regular job that has like a regular okay income, so you can afford a place to stay in, that you have a roof over your head, food to put into your stomach, and maybe even a car to drive. And then you're just gonna get married and have kids, and you're in a family of your own, and everybody's just gonna be okay. People settle for okay because they're scared to take risks. People settle for okay. They settle for maybe not even okay, but like good enough. People settle for good, but it's like, I don't even want to settle for good. And by doing this whole online thing and believing in my vision and the things that I am really interested in, and that like make me jump out of bed in the morning, that I'm passionate about, I'm literally taking the biggest risk of my life, because I'm not gonna settle until I fucking get to greatness. I'm not gonna settle until I get to fucking amazing, because it is my birthright, just like it is every single one of yours. It is your birthright, but it requires work, and it requires believing in yourself, and it requires doing all these things despite of what everybody else is saying. I'm good because I don't give a fuck about what other people say about my vision. It still is my dream, and it's always going to stay my dream until it is my reality. Like, it's a plan now. Fuck dreams. It's a plan now. And I'm going to keep pursuing this plan until I fucking get there. And then when I am there, then people are gonna be okay. Your parents, they're gonna be okay. When you save people's lives being a fucking doctor, that's when your parents are gonna be okay. Because they just want you to be good. They just want you to be safe. They don't want you to struggle. And like, Mom, Dad, thank you. But I'm taking this risk. I'm doing it. And that's what your mindset needs to be. If you want to do this, do it. If that's what you're passionate about, do it. If you want to study medicine, go to college for it, like, you go. Like, I'm rooting for you. Think of me, please. When there's nobody who believes in you, please think of me with like some pom-poms in my hand, being like fucking cheering your name. Because like, I want you guys to succeed, really. Everything you said is true. I want to be amazing, and I will work for that. But knowing I'm the daughter that left her parents behind, left the country, I don't know. You're not leaving anybody behind. The thing is, you have a choice to make. So sometimes we feel like we don't want to leave our parents, right? First of all, I believe it doesn't matter where you are in the world. This is from Dear John, so this is sweet. It's like a little quote. It goes, it doesn't, no matter where it is that you are in the world, the moon is never bigger than your thumb. I'm at home wherever I am in the world, because home is a feeling, not a place. Okay? And even if you leave the country, you can always come back. Hey, yo, transportation is like the fucking shit. Like, go us for like coming up with that stuff. Planes, trains, cars, bikes, skateboards, inline skates. Fucking amazing. Transportation. Woo. Love it. Love that shit. Amazing. Gets me from A to B. People travel the world because it is possible for us. We're not limited, you know? You're not leaving anybody behind because you still love your parents, you still care about your parents, right? But if you decide to stay with your parents because you don't want to leave your parents and go to a different country because of your parents, you're maybe not leaving your parents behind, but you're leaving yourself behind. If you decide to stay with your parents and leave yourself behind, gone. You're leaving yourself behind. You're always going to ask yourself, what if? Trust me. And that's what I don't want. I don't want these two words to haunt me. That's why like I'm doing it all. That's why I'm risking it all, because I know that if I don't do it, I'm going to lay on my deathbed one day and these two words, what if, they're going to haunt me. And I'm going to be so fucking like just old and on the verge of dying because I'm obviously on my deathbed then when that day comes, that like I can't even run from it. It's just going to haunt me until I close my eyes forever. But when you decide to just do it, you're not leaving your parents behind. You're, first of all, fulfilling your like inner calling, and you can always go back. And if you're like becoming this super successful like doctor, you can just put your parents on a plane and have them come to you. Trust me, you're gonna make more than enough money. I'm not being homesick and stuff. It's just imagining my parents sitting at home and discussing I could have done better studying in the country I live in and being that girl who risked it all. It's your choice. It's your choice. But I don't want you to let these two words haunt you either. Go to like Gary Vayner. He's so good. Gary V. He said this. Go to like old people's place and like just spend a day there. Play with old people, like cards or whatever, and ask them if they could go back, or just ask them about something they regret. And I bet a lot of them are going to be talking about those two words, what if, and things they should have done but they didn't do and but they wanted to do. Do that. Sometimes, you know, we're like stuck in life, and sometimes maybe we should just go visit a fucking kindergarten and talk to kids, because sometimes we need to think like kids again, and sometimes we need to go to this fucking old people's place and tell them the thing they regret the most, and they're going to tell you about all these things they didn't do because of maybe even some other people, because they let others influence them. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, just apply. Apply. What do you have to lose? You know, applying somewhere doesn't even mean you have to go. You know, if that's the decision you then take. But if you don't apply, you never know. And if you actually get accepted, I don't know, maybe a sign. If you're supposed to be a doctor, you're going to be one. If it's what makes your heart beat. I'll take my parents' word when they say that they're happy when I am. Watch. Yeah, and like that's usually the thing behind it. They just want you to be happy. But if you're happy helping other people, if you're happy being a doctor, become a doctor. Like, what are you waiting for? And I literally have friends who want to study in the medicine field and become a doctor, like a fucking surgeon. And I'm like, that's some fucking crazy shit. And they know that not a lot of people become this. And there are people, like there's a friend of literally the friend of my friend who wants to become a doctor. He has a friend who wants to go to fucking law school to become a judge. Not a lot of people become judges. Yet they still do it. And it's still a fucking risk because not a lot of people get in there. Even just becoming a doctor is work. If you want to save people's lives, you have to learn it all. There's a lot to learn, you know? And yet they're still like, I'm gonna do this because I feel called to do it for some fucking reason. Where if I was like, I want to become a doctor and I know everything that I have to go through to become that, I'd be like, yo, fuck this shit. Like, I'd rather just become a stripper instead. Easy money. But like, no. I really want to be an artist. There's an academy in my town with a multi-million-dollar art facility. But I can't leave my best friend for a private school instead of high school because she needs me and I need her. We're both struggling with depression. Ah, there we go again. But trust me, just trust me. If you just keep sticking with each other because you need each other, you're gonna be one of the people who one day, like the two words, what if, is gonna haunt them. Because you always have each other. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, the moon is never bigger than your thumb. And that should make you feel closer to people. Doesn't matter where they are. Because you're underneath the same sky. You know, there are many, many ways to be an artist. Not every artist went to a fucking art school. Make art right now. I'm making art. I'm an artist. It's not like some title you gain when you make it. We're all artists. We're all creators already. You can just embody that right now. Because, yeah, decisions would change your life. Yeah, that's the thing about decisions. Because we're like, you know, if we're not fucking miserable, we're not changing anything because we're comfortable like that. You know, we're just gonna ride the wave until we fucking crash, right? Like, if it works, why should I, like, do anything? That's why you don't do the homework until, like, the night before. Or maybe the morning before school. Because, you know, it's gonna be fine. And then you're like super fucking stressed out and burnt out. Yeah, just send. You just hit send. Fantastic. God bless your application. You know? Yeah, that's the thing. Because making these decisions could potentially change your life. It could potentially give you the life that you've always dreamed of. Whatever it is, you're always one decision away. And like for YouTubers or whatever, artists, it's that one thought that gets turned into something that becomes a viral thing. Breaking up and separating from my ex was the best thing to happen to me. And it didn't feel like it at all. It felt like the fucking end of the world. But if it wasn't for my ex and I breaking up, Dear Best Friend would have never happened. And it wouldn't be at 2.4 million views right now, and I wouldn't have almost 21,000 subscribers. If it wasn't for that and everything that triggered, and all the anxiety and all the panic attacks, and me then deciding to go to a mental hospital to get help and putting all the work into myself, I wouldn't be able to sit here and give all these things that I've learned away. I wouldn't be able to help others. There's this picture of doesn't matter what you believe in. You don't have to be religious or believe in Jesus. But there's this picture of Jesus. And there's a little girl. And she's holding a teddy bear. And Jesus is putting out his hand and telling her to give him the teddy bear. And of course, what the last thing that kid would want to do is give the teddy bear away to some guy in like a fucking wand with like sandals, right? Love you, Jesus. But like, you know, I think that's the last thing she'd want. But sometimes you have to give away these things that seem good in order for the greatness to come into your life. And at first, yeah, you're left with nothing because you gave it away, right? But the thing about the picture is behind Jesus' back, he has an even bigger teddy bear. Sometimes you have to let go of what you think is good and what feels really comfortable and kind of jump into cold water. Or just take the leap of faith and just let the better come to you and manifest into your life.